Welcome to another session of Guess the School as part of the CentreCourt MBA Festival, where we're going to give you 3 or 4 facts about one of the world's leading business schools, and for you as you watch this to share who you think it might be. So I'm delighted to be with Liesl Morris, who's joining me, and let's check out some of the facts about this school. The first one, I talked about this before going on air, because the school generates more than 50 companies out of all of the entrepreneurial activities every year. 50. It's a phenomenal figure. And it's like a mini United Nations, because across all of the different programs, MBA and various specialized masters, they have over 130 nationalities of students on the campus every year. They also have a beautiful second campus further out of town, which is in an old, 13th, 14th century convent. 13th century? Oh, it was written down for me, wasn't it? And then in the sort of the upward trajectory, they're also building in the skyline. There's a vertical campus that's going to be a skyscraper housing the university, but also the business school and a lot of its entrepreneurial activities. So, Liesl, tell me a little bit about, without giving away which school. Entrepreneurship's been a hot topic for business schools, but this really is part of the DNA of the institution.
Exactly. We were actually founded by 3 entrepreneurs, and so when it comes to what we can really say, it's been our bread and butter since the beginning, and we have really focused on not just entrepreneurship but entrepreneurship and making an impact, no matter if you want to build your own startup or your own company, but even in your job, in your marketing job, or in your tech job, wherever you are in a company, to make that impact and to be a disruptor, and also to have a more social impact. That's what we're kind of really focusing on now, is pushing the social impact and how can you better your company but also those around you, which is big.
We talk about sort of the international dimension of business education, but 130 nationalities, and then the opportunities for them in terms of careers, that the alumni network just spans all over the globe, right?
No, it's fantastic. We always joke that we're going to go broke within the first 5 years being an alum, because you have so many weddings, too many weddings. But it is fantastic that you sit in a classroom and it's not just diversity of experience, it is diversity of culture and how individuals have learned in a specific way, and they bring their ideas, and it might completely be so different than how you were thinking, and then to bring those 2 thought processes together and maybe have a little battle, try to figure out a way to kind of come to a common ground. But what comes out of that is creativity and that disruption and just making ideas up that you would have never thought about if you were in a very similar ecosystem to yourself.
Now, for many poets and quants readers, they will have found out a lot more about your former dean, who was Dean of the Year on Poets, I think 2 years ago. Now I think the president of the university, and typifies sort of a Renaissance mindset. So how does the fact that you began as a business school, and now you have this wonderful additional campus and sort of humanities and everything else, how does that sort of feed into the overall culture of the school?
Yeah, no, thank you for bringing that up. So when it comes to the school, we really are pushing that business is holistic. It is touching everything when it comes to daily life and how we can form and add more behaviorism to it, right? So you have behavioral economics coming to the fold. You have social economics coming to the fold. So you have all of these different new, with big data, with information. We're just giving so much more research, and with that we decided, why are we just going on this one path when we can expand and we can really stretch out who we are and how we learn and how we teach and how we share information and collaborate. So that's kind of where our trajectory is going, and right, that Renaissance capability of no, there's no end, just keep it going.
So there's history, but also resolutely sort of focused on the future, and that's reflected in the new campus. And what's that going to sort of bring? You're already a pioneer in online education. You have one of the top-ranked programs, the online MBA program. So what will the new campus then also bring to the scope and potential of the school?
Yeah, so I can't give away the city, can I? Not yet. I can't. But the biggest thing is also, right, going back to that social impact of giving back to a city that has done so much just for our own personal ecosystem, and how this really will be a pivotal moment of saying, hey, one of the best, business programs in the world is investing in also the local e-commerce or just local market, as well as just making a stand of like, hey, the city is here, the city is in the world, in international business. And alongside that, paralleling that, is our own more selfish reasons of just a great resource for our university students to come together with our graduate students and build this community that is centered right on that impact, on that entrepreneurship feel.
I guess that brings us back to creating 50 companies every year and how that feeds into that local ecosystem. It's phenomenal. So I've been fascinated by this school for the last 25, 30 years. It is one of the most incredible stories, I think, in business education. The IE Business School in Madrid, Spain. Liesl, what do you love about the school more than anything else?
It's hard. Being an alumnus of the school, I was a dual degree master's in management, market research, consumer behavior, so business and humanities, putting it together. I would say the people. This is an experience where you meet so many different people than yourself. You are challenged on a daily basis, but what is created from that and how your perspective changes is unparalleled, and I wouldn't give it up for anything. So,
well, with the alumni allegiance like that, thank you very much for sharing. We hope that you'll follow the rest of the Guess the School series while we're here in San Francisco, and don't forget that CentreCourt is then heading down to Los Angeles this weekend before moving across the country through Chicago, Toronto, Houston, DC and New York, and we look forward to having IE Business School at each of those events. So thanks for tuning in.